Hey folks, Mark again here with MD Custom Fly Rods. Sorry it's been a while since I've been on, but had to take care of important things like making the trip up to Colorado to go fishing with my son and my son-in-law and get some fishing in, go see the grandkids, and relax just a little bit. So I am, as mentioned before, I am starting this new project here. It is the one-piece, 9-foot Loomis designed fly rod. It's a nice medium action weight, should be good. The user is mainly going to be using this for muskie and stripers, depending on what part of the country he's in at the time. So, one of the things they're wanting on this is they want it green, so we are going to be dyeing the green, but they're also wanting a chameleon type fade effect, going from green to maybe blue or green to black. So I've got some different chameleon color dyes I'm going to be mixing, and I'm going to start running a few on a test pattern here, just to see what type of thing I can come up with, because I have not done chameleon colors before. What I'm going to be using here is the which is what I recommend. It's for any sort of, when you go to finish a rod, you want to, other than the wraps, you want to use the or I like to use the U40 Permagloss. It is a one-coat polyurethane, or just regular urethane rod finish. It goes on light. You won't get fading with it. It won't affect the flexibility of the rod. It just seals it and protects it from UV. And you can also go ahead and mix in your pigments to make your rod whatever color you would like. Which brings up the next thing is commonly done, and this is what I found is the easiest way, is for most people who want a custom color rod, they're trying to explain it. Best way I found is a trip to Hobby Lobby, or have your customer go to Hobby Lobby and pick out the tester's paint color. The model paints that they have is exactly the pigment that they use on making these are you can mix into your permagloss. So it doesn't take much. Just gonna take it, dye it, do a little bit light, but some of the stuff I've got, so there's a little bit of experimentation going back and forth, so this may not be a one-day exercise. So let me go ahead and get started on that as I mix up a little bit of stuff and get this off. Oh, and on doing this, if you can notice, this is another little bottle here. The thinner will separate from the pigment in the bottle. So what you want to do is pour off the thinner after the cells that just leaves the pigment, and till you get a pure concentrated pigment right in there. And then with that, you go ahead and just add a little bit, as much as you need, to your permagloss and brush it on, which will be done on another day. So let me go ahead and get started now, and I will get this mixed up and some test things done. So, what I have got going on here is a slight bit of mixing. With that, I'm going to take a little bit of green pigment, just dip it right on in. And try that on out. Just give me a good, complete mixture in here. Now I'm liking that. It just took just a dab off of that, and this is probably way more than I actually need. But I'm just going a little bit on the cheap side here and just using regular epoxy, since I have some cheap stuff. And then what I'm going to do here is get that cleaned out, and Since this is the only one I'm going to be doing, I might do another one with that. I'm going to go with some screen white ball. Okay, here we go. This is green and gold. Would have been nice if I would have opened this. Green and gold chameleon pigment. Just a fine, fine, fine powder that is a little bit of just a fraction, and be careful with it. Always wear gloves. Don't need stuff messing with the lungs. Or hands or anything like that. But when I go through and do this, I will be fully masked up when I do a full-on epoxy setup. So just kind of get this one mixed up. Interesting. Looks like a nice pearl effect here going. Kind of liking that. It's turning it. I need to go with a darker green. And I'm just gonna go take this first batch right here. I think that's kind of interesting. So clean this cheap little brush on up with some little bit of acetone and move on to the next. And when you're done, after it's separated off, just pour everything right on back. And close and seal, and good for next time. Just make sure you don't shake it up like this before you go to it next time, because that way you'll need it to separate, to settle once again. So, I'm gonna use that same color on the next one. And just go with the straight pigment, which is the green and gold pigment as it comes. Okay. Put that on my next here. Okay, that. And this is coming out a nice little pearl. Kind of interesting. We'll see how it looks on the black background. Boy, what do you think? Okay. So, interesting. It's kind of neat. Kind of like that. But not my decision. Also, nice little saver. I normally do not use these cheap little brushes. These cheap little brushes are good for doing this sort of thing, but as you get going and want to go down the path of rod building, or just build one for yourself, it'd be fine. They work good. They flow pretty decent. But I prefer the, going and spending the money on a decent set of brushes that will, interesting there, because you can always clean it with acetone, and by starting with a good, or I believe starting with a good finish, or a good application for a finish, you could have a much nicer. I think that's coming out green on that black. It is a green and a gold pigment, but I'm trying to make sure. Interesting. So, make sure this brush is clean and do a little bit more of this section. But yeah, you can just keep a bottle of acetone handy and just keep your brushes clean. Go and spend the good money on a good brush, and the application, it'll soak up a little bit easier, go on a little bit smoother, less bubbles when you're applying. Less bubbles means less heat you need to apply if you run into any issues. And also there is definitely a green in there. Interesting. I kind of like that. Okay, let me get this in here. But the less heat you can put on is really good for if you're doing when I go to put like my labels or stickers or stuff like that underneath the epoxy. Heat will sometimes want to make the vinyl stickers kind of come back the other way, so you have to be real careful on that as well. That's unfortunately kind of one of those things I had to learn the hard way. But let's see here. This one is, oh, okay. This is coming out as instead of green and gold, gold and green. And just these little, just these cheap pigments that you can buy. They try to sell you a large selection if you go onto Amazon trying to do it, but which is fine because this stuff is really kind of designed for my mind was thinking it's really kind of designed for doing women's fingernails. So let's see here. Get that open. And this. So it's designed to go in epoxy, which is nice. And don't let it scare you about what it is, but I'm just putting just a little stick here and putting about just that much just right on the tip. And take it, move it on down to epoxy. This is going to be definitely much more gold. Let's see here. This is kind of coming out a little bit more of a copper color. Interesting. Yep, that is a definite no-go there, but I don't know. So again, looking at the angle I've got, I am showing definitely there's a little bit more here. Let's see how. There's some definite green tones in there. I can see what they're talking about by adding the green. I wish it was almost green on green personally, but I will do real quick little short thing just to maybe try to also cover the products here. Should be able to do that in a minute on the YouTube shorts. Those are always seem to go pretty well. Like myself, not much of an attention span. Kind of get to the point if you can, and I'm sorry if this is kind of dragging on for you, but so what I will do is I will do the rest of these colors up, and come back and I'll show you which one we've ended up deciding on, and also do a short video, a little less than a minute, with the product and just kind of the ideas and the products to go ahead and use to get this job done. So have a great day, go out, get some fishing in, go out and enjoy fishing with your friends, family, and if you're having problems with somebody, take them fishing. Seems to heal a lot of wounds out there. Have a great day, and I will catch you next time.